He's got them me eyes, Ronnie.
I guess so, yeah.
I bit the bullet and I tried to take the train, but the rush hour crowds were so bad that I had to get off halfway and walk. I'm running pretty late. Saya worried? I hope she's not mad. When I entered the yard, I realized that the front door has been left wide open. Light from the living room is seeping out into the hallway, and I hear what sounds like someone smacking their lips. There's also a tantalizing fragrance in the air. Is it Saya? I consider calling out to her, but decide to enter in silence instead. Something smells strange, though not unpleasant. The aroma is quite soothing, in fact. It reminds me of Saya's hair. Oh god.
That's freak.
I'm a freak, Ronnie. At first, I am surprised by what I see in the living room. The floor is covered with what looks like some kind of grass, probably the source of the herb-like smell. And there are fruit or vegetable-like balls of varying size scattered everywhere. What the fuck, dude?
This guy.
Dude, I want what this guy's having, dude.
No, you don't.
Saya.
Oh,
Hey, yo!
shit.
Her toes are out.
Again, Ronnie. Again, dogs, free! Saya. I was waiting for it. Saya turns around, her eyes wide with surprise. She then looks away sheepishly like a child caught at some prank.
何を食べてるんだい?
What are you eating?
これはその
This is, well...
She stammers, so flustered that I suddenly feel bad for sneaking up on her. Remembering that she has never eaten in front of me before, I realize that she must be quite embarrassed.
一
Yeah,
ついい
mind
か
your
な?
business.
What? What? What am I doing?
Oh, no.
Can I have one? I scoop up the closest fruit thing and pop it into my mouth, ignoring Saya's attempt to wave me off. $10, I like it, Ronnie. $10.
That'd be crazy. A beer next time we see each other.
A beer. It has a strange texture, soft and pliable like a peach or a pear. When I bite into it with my back teeth, a succulent juice fills my mouth, combined with the sharp, strong fragrance that's unlike anything I've ever tasted.
何か味付けとか
Cannibal.
調理してあるのかこれ?
How did you make this? What did you use?
調理ってほどのことはさばいてからちょっと溶かして食べやすくしただけでほとんど生なんだけど
It wasn't hard. I just took it apart and melted it a little to make it easier to eat. It's practically raw. I
Oh.
spat in it.
Oh, more delicious.
More.
Flavoring. I pick up a different lump, this one consisting of fruity flesh around a hard core. Treating a chunk of my... Oh god. Tearing a chunk off in my mouth, I find it has a similar taste to the last one.
ねえ大丈夫それって
Hey, are you okay? That's,
僕でも食べられる味だ。っていうよりうまいよ、これ。
you sick fuck.
I know, god. Yeah, even I can eat this. In fact, it's good.
You knew
そ
this
うな
outcome.
の
Ah!
Really?
Why'd you turn British? Really?
I panicked because I saw my mouse turn into like a wheel. I thought I was gonna crash.
Oh god. At first Saya looks dumbstruck, but then she bursts out laughing.
そうなんだふみのりもこういうのが好きだったんだなんだあれこれ工夫して頑張ってた私がバカみたい
So this is what you like. Now I feel stupid for going to all that trouble.
Were you laughing?
Yeah.
Dude, it was like you were, it sounded like you were in the background, so all you hear is
Saya っていつもこういうものを食べてたのか。
Is this what you always eat, Saya?
こんな大物は久しぶりだけどね近所の公園とかで取ってくれるやつ
Yeah, though it's been a while since I've had one so big. I usually catch them in the nearby park.
Don't you hear me? That's not a sex joke! There's an impressive nature preserve not too far from here. I've never heard of fruit like these growing there, but, well, of course. They only look like fruits to me. They're really something else.
ごめんね。一番美味しいところはさっきさやが全部食べちゃった。
Sorry, I already ate the best parts.
いいよ、また今度で。でもこれで明日から一緒に食事ができるね。
That's okay. There's always next time. And now, we can eat together.
Yeah.
You sound so fuckable, Ronnie.
No.
No.
Not the breedable.
Not the submissive, bro. Saya seems really happy. I'm happy too, of course. Eating with someone is much more fun than eating alone, and it makes the food taste better too.
まだまだいっぱいあるし、食べきれない分は冷やせば2、3日は大丈夫だよ。ちょっと味は落ちるんだけどね。
There's still plenty left. It'll keep chilled for 2 or 3 days, though it won't taste as good.
じゃあ早めに片付けておこうか。
Then we better start putting it away. Soon the small fruits in Tupperware and the large ones in pots and bowls, Saya and I store the remaining food in the refrigerator. Thinking of tomorrow's dinner fills me with anticipation.
Wow.
I feel that, little by little, I'm starting to regain the joy of living. Saya will guide me. With her, I can live on.
One body part at a time.
Dude, I feel like I'm gonna slaughter like my whole friend group.
Yeah, it seems like that.
True Scary Stories, Hospital Edition. Chapter 4, The Monster in the Hospital. A medical student relates his shocking experiences. Will you believe him or not? Strange things started happening at the hospital around the end of last spring. It began with patients waking up in the middle of the night, screaming. They all spoke of terrifying nightmares, and many of them had to be sedated. Some patients even transferred to other hospitals because of it. The weird thing was that they'd all had exactly the same dream. A dream about some horribly disgusting monster staring down at them from their bedside. But the really strange stuff started happening after that. There used to be a lot of stray cats around campus, looking for scraps from the students.
Oh no.
One day the cats suddenly disappeared, and it wasn't that they'd stopped coming, it was more like they vanished from the area entirely.
She's just like me.
Dude, eating pussy, Ronnie.
Yeah.
And then and then people stopped walking their dogs around. According to the rumors, the dogs were refusing to go anywhere near the school. Eventually, things started going missing in the hospital. Organs, to be precise. Transplant organs kept disappearing from storage. People came close to losing their jobs over it. And it wasn't just 2 or 3 times that it happened. They tried to keep it from the students, but we heard it was a lot worse than that. People started saying that there was something living in the hospital. The janitors would find strange messes that can only happen in the middle of the night. Traces of something that had crawled down the hallway, or weird stains caused by something dripping through the ceiling. The late shift nurses talked about hearing strange noises on the same nights that patients woke screaming. There's one last story, one you can never mention inside the hospital. One day the obstetrics department went crazy. They said that a newborn had disappeared in the night. If that were true, the police would have come and it would have been all over the news. But they say the big shots managed to make it all go away. It's just a rumor, of course. These strange incidents suddenly stopped toward the end of summer. Now there are almost no patients complaining of nightmares, and the cats have started coming back to campus. But still, what happened in the hospital that summer? Even now, just thinking about it gives me the creeps.
Dun dun dun.
Ah, bright! That wasn't
Yeah,
ready.
it's bright as fuck.
ダメだ。
Does that mean?
Yeah, that's you.
Nothing. Yeah, dude. I didn't hear you do it again.
This is the third day in a row that they haven't been able to get in touch with Omi. There's no sign that she returned to her apartment, and even her family doesn't know anything. Parents have already filed a missing persons report.
まあ、あいつのことだからな。何事もなかったみたいに、ひょっこり顔出しそうな気もするんだが。
Well, you know her. She'll probably just pop up somewhere like nothing happened.
うん。だといいけど。
I hope so. Yo replies with a gloomy expression. She's worried about Omi, of course, but the incident with Fuminori 3 days ago must still be weighing on her as well. Yo hasn't seen Fuminori since then, and Fuminori hasn't made any effort to approach her or Koji. Or people used to meet in this cafeteria between classes, but now there are only two.
ねえ、トノくん、もう一度考えてみようよ。どこかオミちゃんの行きそうな場所に心当たりない？
Hey, Koji, let's keep thinking. Isn't there somewhere Omi might have gone?
いや、一通りは確かめたしな。
No. I already checked everywhere.
The fuck? Why do you keep changing accents?
Sorry, can I not mix it up?
No, you can. I'm just kidding.
Okay.
It's a lie, of course. Koji knows where Omi planned to go that evening, but he doesn't want to bring Fuminori up in front of Yo. Their awkward silence is mercifully broken by the bell signaling the start of the next
じゃ
period.
あ、俺行くわ。
Well, I've gotta go.
うん。
Yeah. Unless Koji is mistaken, Yo's supposed to have class next period too. But she just sits there, staring off into space. Unable to come up with anything to say, he leaves the cafeteria reluctantly. Bonomi's disappearance and Yo's depression worry Koji, and both problems lead back to the exact same place.
海のりは一体。
What the hell is Fuminori doing?
When Omi went missing, the first thing he did was question Fuminori. After all, the last time he'd seen her was just before he stormed off to give Fuminori a piece of her mind. Fuminori responded with unequivocal denial and acted like he hadn't the slightest idea why Omi would have gone to see him. Perhaps that was only natural, as he was unaware that Omi and Koji had witnessed him reduce Yo to tears. Did Omi even make it to Fuminori's house? She had been riding a wave of emotion when she left, and might have calmed down and changed her mind halfway there. Or perhaps she ran into trouble on the way. Koji concluded, or more accurately convinced himself, that one of these possibilities was the truth, subconsciously denying the one remaining possibility, that Fuminori was lying, that he had met Omi and was involved with their disappearance. When questioned by the police, Koji told the truth about Omi's destination only up to the train station, maintaining that he had no idea where she planned to go after that. He wanted to cooperate with the search, of course, but Omi couldn't have made it to Fuminori's house. Fuminori said so himself. In that case, he told the police everything they needed to know. Not wanting to get the still fragile Fuminori involved, he forced himself to accept this flimsy logic. But the conflict has built up inside of him without his notice, leaving unanswered suspicion to fester in his mind. Koji is deep in thought, paying no attention to his surroundings, but perhaps that is what allows him to catch sight of his friend's back through the crowd of milling students. He's got them fuck me eyes, Ronnie.
I guess so, yeah.
I don't know why it's not doing anything.
Hit space?
海のり
No.
Stupid.
I clicked. I didn't hit space.
Whatever. Fuminori!
At first, Koji assumes that he's headed to the lecture hall, but it soon appears that he is instead going home. Strange. Medical students have required courses in the afternoon. Though he is initially surprised, Koji's hesitation lasts only for a second. He follows his friend, taking care to stray far enough behind that he won't be noticed.
It's a pursuit.
Fuminori wasn't going home, as became obvious when he boarded the train heading in the opposite direction. Koji's next guess was that he was going to see his doctor at the T University Hospital, but Fuminori rode straight through the closest station.
どこに向かってる？
Where is he going?
At first, Koji felt ashamed for telling his friend like this, but his conscience fell silent as Fuminori's actions grew more mysterious. The stranger it gets, the closer Koji feels to discovering the truth behind Fuminori's sudden transformation. Any knowledge would become welcome, no matter how slight. Even Koji is beginning to think that there must be more behind Fuminori's change than the accident alone. He wants a more satisfying answer, one that will help him decide whether Fuminori can still be trusted. Fuminori gets off at a small station in a nondescript suburb of Tokyo. Koji follows, trying not to lose sight of him amid the other disembarking passengers.
Don't do it, Koji.
The area is quite desolate, with only a small bookstore, a convenience store, and a market in front of the train station. It is easy for Koji to keep Fuminori in view. This neighborhood was carved out of the Fuji foothills, and here and there remain steep inclines and wooden areas that escape assimilation. Koji is amazed that such a quiet place exists less than an hour of the central Tokyo. Fuminori seems to know these streets. He moves quickly and purposely through the suburban community, his eyes fixed straight ahead. Before long, Fuminori reaches a house. Without ringing the doorbell or even knocking, he opens the door and vanishes inside, leaving Koji to wonder how Fuminori can treat that house as his own. After waiting to see if Fuminori comes back out, Koji approaches the gate and checks the nameplate. Ogai, it reads. Koji has never heard of anyone by the name among Fuminori's acquaintances. Next, his attention is drawn to the thick wad of leaflets sticking out of this mail slot. This, coupled with the general dilapidated feel of the place, suggests that it has been abandoned for some time. A small playground about 2 blocks away provides an adequate vantage point from which to watch the front of the Ogai home. Fortunately, it does not appear to be the sort of house that has a rear exit. Koji settles down on a bench to begin his stakeout. Should have brought more smokes.
I should have brought more smokes.
There you go. 1 hour passes and then another, but there remains no sign of movement around the Ogai residence. Soon twilight settles upon the neighborhood. After Koji's one pack of cigarettes runs out, the stakeout becomes a battle against mountain impatience. He kills time by redialing Omi on his cell and sending her short text messages, but his efforts are futile, as he knew they would be. When the sky begins to turn deep blue and the streetlights come on, Fuminori finally emerges from the house and heads back towards the station with the same hurried stride. After some brief consideration, Koji decides that right now, investigating the house is more important than tailing Fuminori. He rings the doorbell just to make sure. After receiving the expected silence in response, he checks to make sure no one is watching and turns the knob. The door is not locked.
Dun, dun, dun.
Oh god. The moment he enters the house, stale air thick with mold and dust fills Koji's nostrils. It is the unmistakable smell of a house that has long lain untouched. There's also a faint hint of something else in the air. Something reminiscent of damp sewers and fetid cisterns. Flipping the light switch does nothing. The power must be cut off. Koji uses his cigarette lighter to illuminate the immediate area. In the thick dust covering the floor, he sees several brand new trails of footprints that could only have been made by shoes, Fuminori's. Koji decides to follow suit and dispense with courtesy. He enters with his shoes on. Oh.
I like that.
The lighter's flickering flame pushes back the deathly silence and gloom of the house. Koji is surprised to see the evidence of life remaining, everything from furniture to tableware and appliances. Nothing seems to be missing. The thickness of the dust suggests that the house has been empty for several months, which means that the owner must have left with little more than the clothes on his back. Could he have gone on a long vacation? The calendar in the den is still turned to April. Empty and silent, yet still exhibiting signs of life that was once lived there. The house reminds Koji of a passenger ship entombed at the bottom of the sea. In the graveyard-like quiet, a sinister thought suddenly enters his mind. No one is living here, but that does not have to mean that the owner left. Maybe he was murdered and his rotting corpse is right under Koji's feet. He finds himself wanting a stronger light. A flashlight in his hand will make him feel much better. Koji follows Fuminori's footsteps to the second floor, where he begins to catch a scent of paper in the stale air. It is the smell of old books, instantly recognizable to anyone who has worked in an antique bookstore or library. The first room on the second floor turns out to be a study. Its towering shelves packed with such a vast number of books that Koji fears for the stability of the floor. As a medical student himself, he is able to discern at a glance that this study belongs to a medical professional, and a high-level one at that. Judging by the contents of the book, the smorgasbord of technical volumes far beyond a simple student's understanding, the owner's interests lie more with medical research than with clinical practice. Fuminori must have spent most of his time here. The scattered dust suggests that he was searching for something, and the contents of the desk drawers are in obvious disarray. A small pile of books stacked on the side table catches his eye. Being next to the desk, they must have been the most frequently read. Their nature could shed some light on the character of the person who worked here. Koji frowns as he examines the three books. These aren't scientific texts like the rest, but old, leather-bound Western tomes like the sort you would find in a rare bookstore. The titles are meaningless to him. Trade Deciphers appears to concern Deciphers appears to concern semiotics, but Ars Magna et Ultima is some kind of treatise on divination. And then there's that. I'm not gonna read that shit. Which looks like some sort of picture book. When he pages through it, he finds the text utterly incomprehensible. Maybe it's some kind of cipher. Whatever they are, they clearly have nothing to do with medicine, refuting Koji's earlier guess that this O guy was a doctor. Looking down, Koji suddenly noticed a glint of something black and metallic underneath the chair. A pocket-sized flashlight. Quite out of place among all these dusty books, Fuminori must have brought it in.
He's gonna want it back.
With relief, Koji exchanges his lighter for the flashlight. Its tiny body emits a powerful white beam that casts away the darkness. His courage restored, he decides to explore the rest of the house.
Nani?
Koji notices something strange, something that was not visible in the lighter's weak flame. The slime.
I knew it!
What's with this fucking slime, Ronnie?
It's gonna wet my pantyhose.
No. Dark, oily stains are everywhere. Stains are especially thick around the doorknobs and stair banisters, like someone grasped them with hands wrapped in greasy cloth. Looking closer, he sees places where slime was splashed low on the walls, almost as if a wet mop was run violently across the floor.
Oh,
No, I'll be in my girl's ear like.
oh.
Could Ogai have made their could, could Ogai have made these marks? If so, how? Koji begins to feel sick as he imagines a man shambling through the house with slime dripping from his body.
He's a slippery little guy.
A little slippery snake. Finding the bedroom next to the study, Koji checks the closet on a hunch. He discovers 2 empty suitcases, not what one would leave behind when going on a long vacation.
Dun, dun, dun.
A sudden chill runs through him. Whoever was living here is still somewhere inside the house. Surpassing the urge to flee, Koji goes back downstairs to check the first floor. If he finds a corpse, he'll have to call the police right away. He might get away with trespassing as if he reports it first. He might get away with trespassing if he reports it first, but if they find the body later, it'll be awfully hard to explain his fingerprints all over the house. The flashlight reveals the den to be covered in even more slime than the rest of the house. Sofa looks as though it was dredged from the bottom of a swamp.
I'd just fucking run at that point. Like, come on.
I know, dude. Fuck that. Like, what the fuck?
Slime? No, thank you.
No, this ain't fucking Nickelodeon. In the kitchen, Koji takes one look at the sink and decides not to get any closer. He doesn't want any more fuel for his imagination. He reaches the door to the bathroom. A common scene from TV dramas flashes through his head, a body with slit wrists floating in a bathtub full of water. Wasn't there a movie where a hitman disposes of his victim in a bathtub filled with lye? Koji braces himself for the worst and opens the door slowly, then shines
Sorry. He wants to see a dead body.
No,
Like,
he really does. Like,
he's eager for it.
I would have been so fucking gone.
Bro, if I touch slime, I'd be like, nope.
Yeah, I know. Koji braces himself for the worst and opens the door slowly, and shines his light into the ceramic bathtub that appears from the darkness like a white ghost. Oh, it's a bathroom! Bones. A mountain of bones, black with dry flesh and blood. Koji puts one hand against the wall to steady himself as his legs threaten to buckle. Something is wrong, he realizes as he tries desperately to get his thoughts in order. The bones are too small and there are too many of them. They aren't human.
They're babies.
I've just feed us.
They're fetus.
After taking several deep breaths to calm himself, Koji enters the bathroom and examines the tub. The bones are piled atop each other like fallen leaves. They appear to be from small animals, perhaps cats or dogs. Even so, the quantity is mind-boggling. How many bodies would it take to produce this many bones? The bones have all been separated from one another, so it doesn't look like bodies were just thrown into the tub and left to rot. Each bone is covered with deep grooves, marks left by teeth biting through flesh. Koji's sanity won't let him consider the possibility that a human could have done this. The owner of this house must have kept some sort of carnivorous animal as a pet, with giving it the bones of small animals to eat and disposing of the remains in the bathtub. But why not dispose of the leftovers properly? They could have just been thrown out with the garbage. Or was there something keeping him from leaving the house? The relief Koji felt when he realized that the bones weren't human is once again under attack. In the first place, what the hell was Fuminori doing here?
どうしたコウジ
Holy fuck! What's wrong, Koji?
Whoa.
Koji whirls around, his light revealing Fuminori's expressionless
不
face.
法侵入だぞコウジ
You're trespassing.
お前だって同じだろうが。
So are you.
Koji replies, barely managing to speak over the pounding of his heart. Fuminori pushes past Koji and looks into the tub. He doesn't even flinch at the sight of the bones.
僕はこの家の人と知り合いなんだ。頼まれて探し物をしに来ただけさ。
A friend of mine lives here. I'm just running an errand.
知り合いって、いつから一体何者なんだ？
Who is this person? Where did you meet them?
Koji doesn't want to believe that the old friendly Fuminori could have had contact with denizens of this house.
いずれお前にも紹介するよ。僕の恩人とも言える人だから。
I'll introduce you one of these days, he says, turning to leave without even a glance at Koji. I owe her my life.
おい、ふみのり！
Hey, Fuminori.
Koji runs after Fuminori. His heart is finally beating normally again.
お前まさか近頃様子がおかしいのはその知り合いっていうやつのせいなんじゃ。
Wait, is this friend of yours the reason you've been acting so strange?
Standing in the entrance, Fuminori glares coldly at Koji over his shoulder. The lack of emotion in his eyes gives Koji
僕
pause.
の後をつけてきたんだね、コウジ。
You followed me, didn't you? Koji swallows. What can he say?
そういうのは迷惑だ。二度とやらないでもらいたい。
Swallow, Ronnie, swallow for the crowd.
No.
Gulp.
Gulp.
You're starting to bother me, Koji. Don't do it again.
あ
Fine.
Fuminori
Sass.
walks... What?
Sass.
Fuminori walks away without another word, leaving Koji alone in the entrance. Up until this very moment, concern for his friend was still at the forefront of his mind. Now, however, that concern is swiftly giving way to a growing sense of dread. Does the Fuminori he knew no longer exist? Was the person who stared Koji down at an imposter wearing Fuminori's skin? Oh, Among Us! Among Us! Koji has begun to believe that it might be so.
Imposter.